You have a pretty unique situation this week.
Mm-hmm.
You've trained with Michael Chandler in the past.
Yeah.
You're training now with Brandon Girtz. They're fighting each other in the main event.
Yep.
What can you tell us about each guy, and can you maybe break down this fight for us and what it means in the lightweight division?
I would say for each person, I think it means something different, because I know them both, So I think for Chandler, it's a challenge. It's an unexpected challenge, So it's like there's a lot of mystery involved, and he just has to go out there and prove that he's the best, Like he's considered in Bellator for Girtz. It's a great opportunity, you know what I'm saying, fighting a big name in Bellator in any weight division, So it's a great opportunity for him to go out and show who he is and what he's capable of and kind of capitalize on this situation, And as far as the fight goes, I think it's a fight like this. It's an exciting fight, man. The way these two guys fight, they're both explosive. They're both aggressive and violent. I don't see it not being a violent fight. I mean, there's going to be some grappling and some finessing, but ultimately they both look for the kill and they look for the finish. So knowing both of them personally, you can't change that about them. Like that's what they do and that's what they're going to do.
Who's it tougher for, would you say? Is it tougher for Chandler given he was in a title fight, trying to avenge a loss, trying to get his belt back, doing it in front of his home fans, and then he had that kind of ripped out from him and had to worry about a new opponent on a month's notice? Or is it tougher for Brandon, given that arguably this is the biggest fight of his career? He's fighting a former champion. He's doing it on short notice as well. I mean, who's got more into a corner on this one?
I think they're both in a situation, honestly. And I think, like Chandler has more to lose, obviously, because anybody who has the better name always has more to lose. But like they're both in a situation. Like Girtz stepped up on a short notice, like against a guy who was already in camp, preparing for a fight, preparing for a championship fight at that, and Girtz took the fight on like a 3-week notice, and decided to fight one of the toughest guys in the division who was training for a championship fight. So, I mean, they both got their challenges ahead of them. But if I had to say who had more pressure, I would just fighting on short notice and not being ready. But I think he's confident. I think Girtz has the pressure, but I think he wanted this situation. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise, that he got it. Man, I just see it being equally, it's a fight. So there's pressure on both guys. And wherever your head is, it depends on the pressure, the amount of it.
Given what you guys needed to do in such a short training camp to kind of speed things up at 2 or 3 times maybe the rate of a full camp, how crucial do you feel like it was for Brandon to have you there, given your past training?
Well, Girtz is a guy who usually takes fights on short notice. From my understanding, that's what he does, So, like, he likes doing that, So this is not his first rodeo. I've never had a short notice fight, but I know how I will approach it. So I was able to give him my input. I think my biggest way of helping is obviously I was Chandler's teammate. I was his teammate. I trained with him for 2 years. So any input that I had was, it was good input because obviously I worked directly with him and he's fighting him on short notice. So to be able to get the little details and already have the experience with the short notice fights, hopefully he can put it together and, do his thing.
Not asking you to give anything away from camp or anything like that, but, maybe how is it refreshing to be in the position that you're in, and we're dealing with you and 2 guys who are kind of pros. There's not a lot of trash talk. There's not a lot of drama behind this. If this situation were with 3 other people, there might be a ton of drama.
Yeah.
People talking about spies in camps and things like that. But this kind of flew under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, it is. I guess it is refreshing to not have to deal with it in its worst form. You know what I'm saying? It's nice that we can come and just make it about what it's really about, and it's the fight on Friday. And both those guys, that's what's going to make it a better fight because they're professionals and they both want to win and they both are putting their focus in the right place. And I know that they need their energy for this fight because it's going to be a good fight, man. and that's where they're putting it.